For 12 years, I worked 18-hour days building what became a $47 million restaurant empire. While my older brother, Marcus, spent his 20s partying and bouncing between dead-end jobs, I was scrubbing floors at 4 a.m., learning every aspect of restaurant operations, from dishwasher to line cook to manager. By 28, I had saved $85,000 and opened my first location, a small Italian bistro in downtown Portland. Marcus never once visited during those brutal first 2 years. Not when I was sleeping 4 hours a night. Not when I nearly lost everything during the 2019 recession. Not when I ate ramen for dinner because every penny went back into the business. He was too busy dating Instagram models and borrowing rent money from our parents. My second location opened in 2021. Then my third in 2022. By 2023 I had 7 restaurants across 3 states. Each one designed from scratch. Each menu personally crafted. Each lease, permit, and insurance policy required my signature. I hired 247 employees. I personally trained 89 managers. Every vendor contract, every supply agreement, every franchise application bore my name alone. The family started paying attention when Forbes featured my restaurants in their 30 Under 30. Suddenly, Marcus began showing up at family dinners, talking about our family business, and how proud he was of what we had built together. My parents nodded along as if he had contributed anything beyond mockery and criticism during those early years. "Remember when you helped me plan the first menu?" I asked him once. "I gave you moral support," he replied, completely serious. "That's invaluable." Marcus started bringing his girlfriend to my restaurants, ordering expensive wine, and telling other diners he was part of the ownership team. He never paid for these meals. When servers asked for payment, he would point at me and say, "Put it on the owner's tab. I'm family." The first red flag came at our annual family Christmas dinner. Marcus announced he'd been thinking about the business, and suggested we formalize our partnership since he had been instrumental in the success. When I asked what specific contributions he had made, he listed brand consultation, menu feedback, and strategic family networking. "You've eaten at my restaurants 5 times total," I said. "Quality control," he shot back without missing a beat. Our parents exchanged looks. "Family businesses work best when family members have official roles," Mom said. "Marcus has such good business instincts." "He's never held a job longer than 8 months, I pointed out. "That's because he was waiting for the right opportunity," Dad countered. Marcus began inserting himself into my business conversations. When vendors called my phone, sometimes he answered, introducing himself as Marcus, co-owner. When I confronted him, he claimed he was just helping with communications. He even started showing up during lunch rushes, strutting through kitchens and giving orders to my staff. "Maybe we should add more salt to this recipe," he told my head chef once. In January, my Pearl District manager called. "Your brother is here asking for keys to the office. He says he needs to review the books." "Don't give him anything," I told her. "He has no authority here." That evening Marcus called me furious. "Why are you undermining me in front of the staff? We need to present a united front as ownership." "You're not ownership," I said flatly. "We're family. Family businesses are partnerships. Show me one document with your name on it." "I don't need documents. I'm your brother." Things escalated when Marcus started making promises to potential investors. A developer contacted me about a new location we were supposedly opening in the suburbs. Marcus had found his contact info in my office and set up a meeting without telling me. "I'm just generating opportunities," Marcus said when I confronted him. "You can't make commitments for a business you don't own." "But I will own it eventually. That's how family businesses work." By February, legal papers arrived at my flagship restaurant addressed to Marcus Romano, co-owner. His lawyer requested financial records for a partnership dissolution consultation. When I called, the firm explained Marcus had hired them to review his options based on informal agreements. "There were no agreements," I said. "He insists you've been operating as partners for years, just without paperwork." That's when I realized Marcus wasn't just delusional. He was actively trying to steal my company through legal manipulation and family pressure. The breaking point came on March 15th at Sunday dinner. Marcus arrived with a briefcase, contracts, and a PowerPoint presentation titled Romano Family Restaurants, a restructuring proposal. He had pie charts showing a proposed 25% equity stake for himself, strategic expansion plans, and a management structure with him as chief operating officer. "I've been patient," he announced, "but it's time to formalize what we all know is true. This business belongs to the Romano family, not just one member." Our parents nodded approvingly. "It makes sense," Dad said. "You boys should be partners." Marcus slid contracts across the table. "Just sign here and we can move forward as equal partners." "Well, almost equal. 25% is fair for now." "You got lucky with timing," Marcus continued. "I would have been involved from the beginning, but I was exploring other opportunities." "You were unemployed and living at home until last year," I said. "I was waiting for the right moment to join." Marcus had even typed up official agreements with profit-sharing formulas and decision-making authorities. He gave himself control over marketing, signing authority for expenses under $50,000, and a $120,000 annual salary. "You want me to pay you $120,000 a year?" I asked. "Market rate for a COO," Marcus said confidently. "You've never managed anything." "I have extensive experience in customer service and business development." "You got fired from Applebee's after 3 weeks. That was a cultural mismatch." "This is family." By dessert, our parents were talking about Romano Brothers restaurants as if it already existed. Marcus ceremoniously pulled 2 contracts from his briefcase, placed them in front of me and handed me a gold pen. "I know this is emotional," he said gently, "but it's time to take the business to the next level, together." Mom had her phone ready to record the historic moment. I looked at the contracts. They were surprisingly detailed. Marcus had somehow obtained confidential financial information about my restaurants. Gross revenues, profit margins, expansion plans. He had built his entire proposal around numbers he should never have had. "How did you get my financial data?" I asked. "I did my homework," he said smugly. "A good partner needs to understand the business." That's when I realized he had been snooping through my office during his unannounced visits, photographing documents, gathering information to build his false case for ownership. I looked at my brother in his new suit, radiating confidence as if he deserved a quarter of everything I had built. I looked at my parents, beaming with pride at his professional presentation. I opened my own briefcase. "Before I sign anything," I said calmly, "I think you should see some documents too." I pulled out the original business licenses for all 7 restaurants. Every single one listed me as sole proprietor. "Interesting," I said, spreading them across the table. "All of these say owner, Elena Romano. No mention of Marcus Romano anywhere." Marcus waved dismissively. "Those are just filing technicalities. We've been operating as partners in practice." I slid 7 thick franchise agreements toward him. The contracts I had personally negotiated, signed, and guaranteed. "Here are the franchise agreements," I said. "Show me where you signed. Show me where you accepted liability. Show me where you put up collateral." Marcus flipped through the pages, his confidence wavering. "I mean, I wasn't involved in the paperwork, but—" "You weren't involved in the paperwork," I cut in, "because you weren't involved in the business." Next, I laid out the property leases. Each required personal financial guarantees, credit checks, and background verification. Each bore my signature, my social security number, my financial statements. "These are the lease agreements," I continued. Each one required a $50,000 security deposit and a personal guarantee of all rent payments. "Which deposits did you contribute?" "Well, none. Because you weren't there." I spread out the insurance policies: general liability, workers' compensation, property insurance, business interruption coverage. Every one listed Elena Romano as the insured and responsible party. "Here's $40,000 worth of annual insurance premiums. Which ones did you pay?" Marcus was shrinking in his chair, but our parents still waited for his explanation. I pulled out the loan documents from when I expanded to my second and third locations. 2 sets of personal guarantees, $300,000 in small business loans. Each required collateral. I had put up my condo. "These are the expansion loans," I said. "What assets did you contribute?" "I provided strategic support." "You weren't there." Finally, I opened my laptop and pulled up the business bank account records. Every deposit, every payroll, Every transaction tied to my name and social security number. These are the banking records for the past 5 years. Show me one transaction that involved you. Marcus stared at the screen, his PowerPoint confidence completely gone. I pulled out the last set of papers. The Articles of Incorporation for Romano Restaurant Group, LLC. Filed 3 years ago. And here, I said, placing them on top of everything else, is the official business registration. One owner. One member. One person legally responsible for everything. Elena Romano. The table was now buried in licenses, leases, contracts, insurance policies, loan documents, banking records. Hundreds of pages. Every single one bore my name alone. Not one mentioned Marcus. So here's my question, I said, locking eyes with him. Based on what legal authority are you claiming ownership of my business? Marcus opened his mouth, then closed it. For the first time in 12 years he had nothing to say. Our parents looked at the mountain of paperwork, finally beginning to understand. But he's family, Mom said weakly. Being family doesn't create ownership, I replied. Legal documents create ownership. Financial investment creates ownership. Personal liability creates ownership. 12 years of 18-hour days create ownership. I began collecting my papers, sliding them neatly back into my briefcase. Marcus, you're welcome to eat at my restaurants anytime as a customer. You're welcome to keep telling people you're proud of my success. But you're not my partner. You're not my co-owner. And you're not getting 25% of anything I built. But I can help you grow the business, he blurted. Then go build your own business and show me how it's done. I closed my briefcase and stood. Thanks for dinner, Mom. The partnership meeting is over. As I walked to the door, I heard Marcus frantically explaining that the documents don't tell the whole story, and that family businesses are different from legal businesses. But the documents told the only story that mattered. 3 days later, Marcus called me, furious that I had humiliated him, and demanded I reconsider the partnership for the sake of family unity. I'm opening 2 more locations this summer, I told him. You're welcome to apply for a job, like everyone else. He hung up. Last week, I received a certified letter from Marcus's lawyer threatening legal action for unjust enrichment and implied partnership agreements based on family expectations. I forwarded it to my attorney, who laughed. He has no legal standing whatsoever. This is the business equivalent of someone demanding ownership of your house because they visited a few times. I'll send a response. Easiest case dismissal I'll ever write. Yesterday, Marcus posted on Facebook about supporting family businesses and recognizing everyone's contributions. He tagged several of my restaurants. I had him banned from all of them. Next month, the 8th and 9th Romano restaurants open. Both will bear my name, my signature, and my decisions just like the first 7. Family doesn't create ownership. Work does. And I've done all the work.